The Young Thug trial is a complete mess right now, as we're even seeing Meek Mill share on Twitter, "Jeff is gonna beat this case, it is too messy." In honesty, he's correct, as even today, Young Thug's girlfriend Mariah The Scientist hinted towards Young Thug's release, as she would speak about marrying Young Thug once he gets out of jail.
Do you think that marriage is the next step for you, Young Thug?
I mean, when he gets out of jail?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think either of us want a jail wedding. Yeah, but I feel like he definitely wants to be married, and I feel like I do too.
Do you ever imagine life outside once he's out?
For sure. We talk about it all day. Okay. All day long. I mean, I feel like being imaginative can help every human being on earth not lose your mind. Mm-hmm. You know, it is like a little slight state of delusion.
Young Thug's girlfriend and family are very confident about his release due to the prosecution in his trial. These prosecutors are very unprofessional, as it was even reported, and I quote, "Young Thug's lawyer is fed up with the state interrupting him every 5 seconds. He told the judge that he's ready to start being petty during trial and start doing the same thing back to them."
So, I sit here, I don't interrupt Miss Love at all. And if this is the way, Your Honor, and I need to bring this up to the court, if we are going to be doing opening statements with interruptions, cross-examination with interruptions, I am going to ask the court to admonish and take action against Ms. Love, because I sat here for a year, it feels like, being interrupted on every quality, proper statement, and all the objections are the same. Asked and answered, vague,
Your Honor, I'm going to
excuse me, Ms. Love.
Let him finish, man.
You have to.
And I'm going to object to being spoken to by Mr. Steele in a condescending manner on the record.
Let him finish, and then I'll let you respond, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let him finish. All right.
And if we're going to sit here during opening statements, then I'm telling the court, and I don't want to do this, I am going to object to everything that I believe there is a good faith basis.
Further proving on how bad these prosecutors truly are, not only are they interrupting Young Thug's lawyers from trying to defend Young Thug, even the judge started yelling at them as they were trying to push in 200 plus witnesses to go against Young Thug without even sharing the names of the witnesses to the judge or Young Thug's lawyers.
Your Honor, we would ask, because we would ask that all of this be reserved for the 16th, because this all came up in September. You said you allowed us to.
I am really annoyed about this, Ms. Hilton. I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3 since then. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th, because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. Okay. But right now, I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like to
exclude a lot more on that date, because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've gotten and that would suffice, that we just kind of keep, you keep dripping and driving out evidence.
The prosecutors are trying to sneak in 200 plus witnesses to come to trial and share crimes that Jeffrey committed, all while not even sharing the names of these witnesses, what crimes they even witnessed, and if they can actually prove that they saw Young Thug commit a crime. The only thing the prosecutors truly have against Young Thug is the rap lyrics found in his songs. As even DJ Akademiks would report, judge in Young Thug case allows the use of 17 different lyrics against him and his co-defendants.
Is going to admit for the limited purpose thus far, the state's request to apply the evidence statute as written. I'm going to conditionally admit particularized lyrics, and those lyrics are found within states 18. There's 17 sets of lyrics. I'll conditionally admit those pending lyrics, depending upon or subject to a foundation that is properly laid.
Many found it odd that the judge even allowed the prosecutors to use music lyrics against Young Thug. However, police records would show that these Young Thug lyrics actually line up perfectly to crimes that were committed by YSL members, as the first set of Young Thug lyrics is in the track titled Bad Boy featuring Juice WRLD, where Thug raps the lyrics, "I went at his mommy, now he no longer mentions me," as during the famous Young Thug vs YFN Lucci beef, YFN Lucci was was hiding low, so Young Thug wanted to end the beef by targeting his mother instead. As evidence would show in the police files, YFN Lucci's mother was watching TV in the living room until very unexpectedly, multiple firearms were being used against her home. Ever since then, Lucci has not done a single thing towards Young Thug.
Well, he's featured on the song, so the song is actually by an artist that goes by the name of Juice WRLD, and it's featuring Mr. Williams. The song is called Bad Boy, and Mr. Williams says, I shot at his mommy, now he no longer mentioned me. Now, this would seem, again, insignificant if you're just looking at these words. However, in this case, in the height of the 2050 between the YSL gang and the IF, we have cases in which individuals of YSL the opposition's mother's house. Mr. Rayshawn Bennett, also known as YFN Lucci. We have 2 incidents in January 22 of 2015 and January 26 of 2015, where his mother's home, Mr. Bennett's mother's home,
Then, in Young Thug's track titled Ew, Thug raps the lyrics and I quote, honestly, truth be told, YSL won't fold. Pick him off from the balcony, YSL wipes a nose. Now this relates to an actual crime where YSL members targeted an op while he was out on the balcony of his apartment building. Court files suggest that multiple YSL members staked out a balcony of an apartment sitting inside of a stakeout vehicle, waiting for the certain op to come out to his balcony, as once he stepped foot outside of his door, you could probably guess what happened next. With the next set of lyrics being read out loud inside of the courtroom to the judge is, and I quote, my boys really be slime and we committing them crimes. Hop out and hit, you wanna be slime? Go catch you a body. As these lyrics are from the Young Thug hit song titled Really Be Slime. Funny enough is featuring YNW Melly, who is in his own court case where he is responsible for the 2 passings of his best friends YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser. Prosecutors allege the lyrics in the song relate to the recruitment process of joining Young Thug's street team known as YSL, where you have to go commit a very serious crime towards someone to join. As currently, the lyric evidence is a majority of the evidence the prosecutors have, as Young Thug's lawyers are currently in the process of making a majority of the evidence they have against Young Thug no longer usable inside of the courtroom. This is because in a report of, Brian Steele says Lil Woody was told he would get 25 years in federal prison in a different case if he didn't cooperate against Young Thug, aka Snitch. The state refuses to give anything to the defense concerning the federal agent that went after Lil Woody with this. Brian Steele wants to put her on the stand to show the jury that Woody was told to lie about Jeffrey.
Specifically is on the recording, KC, that he will get, that she spoke with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and he is facing, if he does not cooperate against Mr. Williams, he's facing 25 years at a minimum charges in federal court, and there's no parole. I do not have one document, not one note or memoranda provided in discovery concerning ATF agent Cunningham.
As Young Thug's lawyers found evidence that Lil Woody was told to snitch against Young Thug or else he would go to prison for life, which is highly illegal. As shared in the report of, YSL Woody cooperated with the police for 3 hours and solved over 50 crimes, telling on Young Thug, YFN Lucci, and others, as there is a 3-hour interrogation video of Lil Woody, formerly known as YSL Woody, telling law enforcement for 3 hours every single crime YSL has ever committed. He even mentioned names like Gunna and even Lil Baby, as he was forced into doing so. If Young Thug's lawyers can prove this, that entire evidence of 3 hours long will no longer be usable against Young Thug. However, if they can't prove it, expect the Atlanta DA to arrest Lil Baby for RICO very soon.
An in-depth investigation. Recent months, you've had 2 high-profile racketeering cases. There are going to be more.
Over the next 60 days, you'll see 2 more.
Which is why Young Thug's lawyers also announced today, Young Thug's lawyers filed a motion to redact/remove any mention in the indictment of the 9 co-defendants who took guilty pleas. He argues that the fact that co-defendants pleading guilty cannot be used as evidence against Thug or others on the trial. As a part of their plea deals, a few YSL members are obligated to take the stand against Young Thug, where they will have to in person basically snitch against Thug, revealing all of the crimes that YSL has ever committed. Why this is so important is because of Young Thug's co-defendant and right-hand man Durante Beebe pleading guilty to his RICO charges against him, as he also pled guilty to participation in criminal street activity, theft by receiving stolen property, violation of Georgia's Controlled Substance Act, armed robbery, hijacking of a motor vehicle, as well as firearm charges.
And you give this guilty plea freely and voluntarily, means your own decision to enter a plea this afternoon? Yes. Okay, all right. And sir, then I find that based upon the responses that you've given and the colloquy in this case and the court's questioning of you, that your pleas are freely and voluntarily entered. I find a factual basis. I'm going to go ahead and accept your pleas as tendered and negotiate, sentence you to the as indicated. You're 23 years old. You've had enough trial in your life at this point in time. Would you agree? Yes. Time to have a little testimony. Time to reclaim your own life, and that you can do in this case, or if you just separate yourself from the people that you've been hanging out with. Find some new friends, find some new people that are going to be positive in your life, and if they don't add to your life, then you need to cut them loose.
Beebe was sentenced to only 5 years inside of prison with 10 years of probation following his release. B is now the 9th co-defendant to strike a plea deal to avoid trial. However, with Beebe taking a plea deal, admitting guilt of doing all of these crimes, it shows the new jury that Young Thug was likely involved as well. Not to mention when Gunna snitched, he said yes ma'am to a bunch of crimes that YSL and Young Thug were involved in.
Not you agree or acknowledge that statements are true, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I became affiliated with YSL around 2016. Is that true as it pertains to you, Mr. Kitchens?
Yes, ma'am.
YSL is a music label, and you have personal knowledge that members or associates of YSL have committed crimes in furtherance.
Yes, ma'am.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocarbons and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And do you acknowledge the following statement? I recognize, accept, and deeply regret that my talent and music indirectly furthered YSL to the detriment of my community. YSL again. Is that your statement or acknowledgement?
Yes.